There we go. Looks like we're live on Facebook. Good morning, Facebook people. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Chat with Sue, our first of the year 2023. And I hope that you've all had a really good start to the new year, to the new week, and that things are going well for you already this year, and that you are getting excited about something you're looking forward to this year, something that you want to maybe try new, different. So welcome everybody, and thank you for being here. And this morning our topic is triggers and glimmers. So for those of you who know me, who have heard me talk about the polyvagal. Good morning, Leslie. Lovely to see you. Yeah, if you're here, if you're watching live, come on and say hi. Let me know where you are. It's always nice to know that there are people watching and I'm not just talking to myself alone. So, yes, triggers and glimmers. Good morning, Tracy. Lovely to see you here. Thank you. Triggers and glimmers is a term that comes from Deb Dana, a psychotherapist and author, and I will later on I'll pop her books down in the comments because I highly recommend her books. She's worked very closely with Dr. Stephen Porges on the polyvagal theory, and she's taken his work and she puts it basically into practice, into the human world of psychotherapy. She's been able to integrate the polyvagal theory for people, and her work is amazing. So this term triggers and glimmers comes from Deb Dana's work, from her, and I love to use it because it's a great way of illustrating. Good morning, Mary. Lovely to see you here. It's a lovely way of demonstrating how our nervous system responds to certain things. So if we go back a little bit to the polyvagal theory, and we remember what neuroception is. This is again a term coined by Dr. Porges for his polyvagal theory, and what it basically is it happens in our unconscious mind. It's happening 24/7, and it's a part of our nervous system that is searching for cues of safety and danger in the environment, inside our bodies, and between ourselves and others. So between ourselves and other people, animals, anything else with a nervous system. And it's continuously doing that. That's its job. The neuroception is doing its job, looking for cues of safety and danger. And those are to help then to turn on or activate a certain part of our nervous system in response to that. So if it's a cue of danger, it will activate our sympathetic nervous system. It will get us ready for fight and flight. It will activate the stress cycle, all of those things that it needs to do in order to take action for that cue of danger. And that cue of danger can be anything for anybody. It looks different for most people and most dogs. There's obviously the common ones, which are like things like fire or sirens. Those are common to most mammals of cues of danger, but otherwise they're pretty individual. I saw there was a discussion in our group earlier about black dogs. So some dogs are triggered by black dogs, other dogs, black dog, it doesn't matter what it is not a problem. But certain dogs, that cue, that trigger could be a black dog. So that's what it does. The neuroception gathers information and is looking out all the time for cues of safety and danger. But now, most of the time, we live with so many cues of danger around us constantly that the stress cycle is constantly being activated. But what it's meant to do, as we know, it's just information activates our stress cycle, the danger goes away, and everything goes back to normal, everything goes back to homeostasis. But unfortunately, we live in very stressful lives, so do our dogs, and so this is being activated all the time. But there's another way to combat that, or to counteract that, should we say, is that we have the glimmers, which is equally valid, important, and can really, really help us in situations. So the glimmers, on the other hand, are cues of safety in our environment, inside our bodies, and between ourselves and others. And these glimmers turn on the parasympathetic, the safety mechanisms in our nervous system. They activate the social engagement system, where we feel confident and free to communicate, to have social interactions with others. Those are the glimmers will activate those parts of our nervous system to help us feel calm and relaxed and safe. So those ones we can equally, our nervous system is picking them up as well, but very often we tend to focus only on the triggers. And if I asked you, for those of you who are watching now, if I said to you, can you name me two triggers of your own, two of your own triggers and two of your dog's triggers, I bet you would be able to name them just like that. So if you know it, you can type in the comments if you wish to. But what are your triggers? And it's something that we easily know, we're easily familiar with, and they activate it pretty regularly. So triggers is something we know about, but glimmers is something we don't tend to focus on. And this is where it can be really, really helpful, because if we can focus on that, it means we can turn on and activate our parasympathetic nervous system. We can do that willingly, at will, if we wish to, when we need to too, with practice. So let's have a look just right now, wherever you are. Hopefully you're not driving in the car, or if you are driving in the car, please make sure you keep your eyes on the road. But in your environment right now, where you're sitting, can you look around your room and tell me what cues of safety you can see around you? So we often use our five senses in order to find those or to tune in to those triggers and those glimmers. So we're going to use our senses now to tune in to our glimmers. So what in your environment around you is a sense of safety, a cue of safety? Now this could be anything. If I'm looking around my room, my door is closed. So for me, that is a cue of safety, because I know that I'm safely contained in my room. If the doorbell should ring and my dog should go barking at the door, they won't disturb me on this live. So that's, for instance, a cue of safety right now in my environment. Ellie says, my blanket, cushions, Molly Mad. Yes, beautiful. So you've got a lovely, warm, cozy blanket on. I have two on my knees. Ellie, cushions to support you and make you feel comfortable. Molly Mab is Ellie's dog. So her dog makes her feel safe and secure and happy and calm. So we are surrounded by cues of safety all the time. And sometimes we can refer into ourselves. So remember, it's outside cues of glimmers are around us in the external environment, in our internal environment as well, and between each other. So let's see, Ellie says she makes a nest. Yeah, makes a lovely nest with, excuse me, makes a lovely nest with the blankets and the cushions and everything. I mean, that's Molly Mab would be, those would be cues of safety for her too, right? So she's got a blanket and her cushions and she's making a nest with that. It feels cozy and comfortable. Tracy says, Angel and Star are sleeping soundly. Yes, so the sound of their breathing as they're relaxed and sleeping is a glimmer. It's a cue of safety, a cue of comfort to us. So we are surrounded by these cues all the time, but we don't notice them very often. And this is where I'm going to invite you this week to explore that, invite you to explore those cues of safety and contentment and calmness that are in your life all the time, that we are surrounded by all the time, that we can put our focus on. Because if we can train ourselves and rehearse this going into these glimmers and feeling them and exploring them and experiencing them all the time, it means we're activating our parasympathetic again and again and again. So they really are our little shining lights, our glimmers. And let me see what else I've got here. So just going back to the five senses, for instance, that's when you can really use your five senses to try and tune into them. So we've discussed a couple of that are external in our environment, and you can do this on walks too. So let's say you're going for a walk, use nature sounds, for instance, are very calming, and usually for most people will activate that system of feeling calm and relaxed or in awe of nature. So the sound of running water, the sound of a gentle breeze in the leaves, or at the moment the beautiful snow crystals. If you notice the beautiful snow crystals, or the snow shining onto the sun shining onto the snow, and you see it sparkling like that, that's a beautiful glimmer, perfect glimmer. So all of these things are in nature all the time. The birds singing, the sound of the birds singing. You could be humming a tune. One of your favorite songs can come to you in your mind, and you could hum that. That is going to be turning on. That's a glimmer, all right? So we have loads and loads that we can be tuning into. Let's say you are pretty hyper vigilant on your walks. Let's say you at the moment your nervous system is more tuned into the cues of danger, so into things like where's another dog, where's who's coming over there, what's happening over there. When you feel yourself doing that, perhaps you can then redirect your focus onto some of the glimmers as well, so that you're not just activating and reactivating that sympathetic system all the time. So you can refocus on something else, refocus on nature, refocus on your dog, connect with your dog, remember that feeling. And this is where, when I say remember that feeling, that's another way of recalling glimmers, is that our emotions are tied to memories, and we have good memories. We have memories where we were feeling safe and happy and content, whether that be with family, whether that be an experience with our dogs, whatever it is. There was experiences, and we have memories of good times where we felt wonderful, happy, calm, safe, all of that. We can recall that memory. Just bringing that memory to mind will automatically bring that emotion to the fore as well, so that we can feel that emotion in the moment. So recalling a beautiful memory, whatever that is for you, can activate your parasympathetic as well, to bring you into that moment and help you to feel that emotion. It could be something as simple as listening to your breath, or focusing on your breathing, just in out, knowing that your breath is always there for you, it's always helpful for you. That could be a glimmer for you. Focusing on a specific part of your body, your steps, walking 1, 2, 1, 2, as you place your feet on the ground, that could be a glimmer. There's so many. So I want you to, for those of you who can think of it now, what's come to mind that you recognize as glimmers that perhaps you hadn't focused on so much before? Is it something in nature? Is it something that you like to do? I like, for one thing I thought about yesterday was when I'm driving to my walk. When we drive, because we always drive down to go to one of our walks, and I can turn on my favorite music. And so by the time I get to the walk or the destination, I'm already feeling in that really great state, whatever it is. If it's a happy music, or if it's a lovely calm music, whatever it is, I can choose that state, that emotional mood and state, before I even arrive at my destination. So that's all about us. Obviously, we've got loads of triggers and glimmers that we can start exploring, but our dogs have them too. And this is where it becomes interesting, because we can start to explore what our dogs' glimmers are. We know what their triggers are. 99% of the time we know exactly what their triggers are, but what are their glimmers? What lights them up? What makes them feel safe and calm and happy and relaxed, and what's going to activate their parasympathetic for them? So it could be activities, it could be things that they love to do. So whilst you're on your walk, perhaps it's good to focus on things that they enjoy doing, like sniffing games, or running and playing, or what is their thing? Charlie's thing is water. The moment there's water around, he's instantly in a great mood. Nothing can shake him. If there's a water around that he can paddle in and walk through, puddles and things like that. Alice says, oops, I think I've just, where did it go? The comments disappeared. Hang on a sec. Don't know how to move them down. So there could be, yeah. So what about your dogs? Let's start thinking about some of the triggers. I'm sorry, some of the, not the triggers, some of the glimmers that your dogs have. There comes that comment again. Dappled sunlight gets me every time. Yes, that beautiful dappled sunlight, or for me, it's as it comes through the forest trees. It's just the rays that come through. Beautiful. Yes, Molly Mab loves running. Yes. Don't you love watching your dog run as well? You know, when the dogs are running, just that feeling of watching them being so free and happy and carefree is such a beautiful feeling. So that's a glimmer. So come, let's think of some more glimmers. Tracy says, I love bird song, wind in the trees, water lapping, all sorts of wonderful sights and sounds and smells. Yes, what about smells on our walks? I also love to watch Angel rubbing against trees and bushes. It's a joyful feeling. Yes. So yeah, so there we go. There you've identified another thing that your dog loves to do is, rubbing against trees and bushes and things like that. And if Tina ever watches this, I'm sure she's not going to agree with me, but some of the things her dogs like to roll in, it's a glimmer for them. It's certainly a trigger for us, but it's a glimmer for them. And it's just fascinating. Waterfalls, Ali said. Yes, beautiful. So just coming back to one thing Tracy mentioned was smells on our walks. What about smells? They can also be, help us to find those cues of safety and contentment, as it were. So my favorite essential oil is lavender, and I have literally conditioned lavender to be an instantaneous a glimmer for me, to put me straight into that safety of feeling calm and held and secure and comforted. And I just need to put a drop of lavender on my wrist before I go walking. And if ever I'm feeling like, oh, I'm so in my head, I've got thoughts wandering around, all I need to do is take a sniff of that lavender oil, and it just centers me and grounds me and brings me back to the present moment immediately. So that's a beautiful way for me to just shift that. And he says, listening to Charlie's croc snuffle in, to Charlie Crocodile. Yes, listening to Charlie Crocodile snuffle in the leaves was a glow for me. Yes, I listened to that rustling sound in the leaves and watching him sniffling around. Star's face when she's rolling in wet grass is a real picture. She looks so blissful. Yes, it's a beautiful one, right? So my challenge to you this week, everybody, is to go out and find those glimmers, to focus on them, because the more we focus on them, the more they're going to be brought into our conscious mind. Remember, they're there in the unconscious realm all the time, but we need to bring them into our focused conscious realm so that we can enjoy them and we can feel them, and we can that they can activate that beautiful caring system for us. And put us into that state of calm, relaxation, whatever it is that we want to evoke in that moment. So go out there. That's the challenge this week. Go out there, find your glimmers, write them down so that you can make a record of them, and focus on them. Because remember, when we're talking about building resilience and building our regulation skills, our self-regulation skills, they are like muscles. We need to exercise them. We need to practice these skills. And the more we do that, it's like an elastic band. It's sort of, stretching to feel something and come back to balance, stretching to feel something and come back to balance. And if we're only stretching out to feel things that are triggering us, that if we're only stretching out to feel those emotions that feel heavy and hard and difficult, then it's not going to help us to exercise this part, the glimmers. This part of the nervous system that muscle needs to be exercised again and again. The more we can recall these feelings and these glimmers, the more easily we can activate it, especially when we want to, when we realize we're getting into an anxious or fearful state. We can use these, we can call on these glimmers to reactivate or put a brake on the trigger and to reactivate that parasympathetic for us. So that's my challenge for you this week. Please go out, practice your glimmers, find your glimmers, write them down, practice them, and see what a difference it makes. Keep a journal this week and see, when you're focusing your energy on your glimmers instead of your triggers, how does that change things for you? So that's my message for today. I really thank you, Ali and Tracy and everybody else, for your wonderful comments, for coming on, for sharing with us. Ali says, great challenge. Yes, it's a challenge, it's an invitation. And I would love to hear, please come back into the group and let us know, comment and let us know what your experiences were. And let's have a great week together. So thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Wishing you a wonderful Tuesday, and we'll see you next week again. Thank you. Bye-bye.